Did you guys watch Queenie? Yeah. Okay. Did you notice anyone familiar? And side note, don't judge my coffee, okay? Because you know what? People love to talk about how it's more cream than coffee, but it's my prerogative. Anyway, so I was watching Queenie, and it was pretty good. I feel like the book was a little bit funnier. Like, all throughout the book, I really cackled. The film adaptation felt a little bit more serious. There were some like funny parts, but not the way that the book really nailed the humor, but like in that kind of British way. But speaking of Brits, did you notice anyone familiar? So I'll just give it away. This is a spoiler, so if you don't like it, sorry, you should have watched it by now, okay? I mentioned it already, like, you can't blame me. So the grandfather and Queenie just kept looking so familiar. I was like, I know this guy from somewhere. And lo and behold, it was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. So Jeffrey, who plays the butler, or that's what his character's name is, Jeffrey Butler, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, his real name is actually Joseph Marcel, and he is now, instead of playing a Brit who's in Cali, he's now playing a Jamaican Brit. And so he's the grandfather of Queenie. And I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so nostalgic, especially because Queenie, I think, is like in her late 20s, if I remember correctly. So I think she's like at the very end of like being a millennial. So really it just felt so nostalgic because it kind of played into the childhood, and then he comes back as like a grandfather. So it's just kind of like, oh, this is really, really cool. But yeah, so the film was pretty good. Again, I think Hulu really nails book adaptations. They're the actual company I kind of prefer when it comes to watching film adaptations. I could go into like a whole nother rant. I probably will. Maybe I'll do a separate video of some of my favorite Hulu film adaptations from, I won't even name it. I won't even give it away. So anyway, so that's my little June wrap up. Y'all saw I was reading all June, so I don't think I really need to like go into too much detail and like, get into it again. The last one that I wrapped up was, as far as for the month of June, was My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. It was a little bit of dark humor, but it was still pretty good. So yeah, they touched on some kind of serious issues, but it was so some people described it as satire, but it also, like, the author really nailed the humor. That was another one that, like Queenie, I was just cackling at. So maybe I'll do another like little short thing of like, the best books that really nail humor, and maybe touch on some serious topics, but really will have you cackling. So anyway, what am I currently reading? Well, of course, I think this is like a Rebecca Roanhorse Stan account in my spare time. So what did I pick up? I picked up the last book, Mirrored Heavens, from Rebecca Roanhorse. And again, I mentioned before, this is the trilogy Between Sky and Earth. And Between Earth and Sky. This is book 3, and I'm just really excited. I've started reading this. Yes, I'm probably about 3 chapters in, and I had the same moment that I had reading the first book, where it's like I feel like my entire body is getting sucked into this world, and then I look and I'm like, where am I in time and space? This book is so good. Check it out, I'm telling you. And the other 2 books that I'm reading, so happy Juneteenth / 4th of July, okay, because it's all coming up. But I'm reading these, and small backdrop, when I bought this book last year, I had no idea when I was going to pick it up or anything. And so I started actually deciding to pick this book on Phyllis Wheatley. And as I was, taking interest in kind of reading this, I started noticing that the book discusses George Washington. Now, I won't give too much away because I feel like I want to work on some upcoming projects around history and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know where to place Phillis Wheatley in history. I did not know that these two were contemporaries. And so George Washington had a lot of commentary on Phillis Wheatley. There were a lot of other people who just could not stand her during that day. There were some commonalities between the two. And so I am reading these together. And I'm going to really start, and I've already started researching and kind of just weaving their lives. And just, there's so much history that gets lost in timelines. In timelines that don't really give you, they don't really set the scene so that you can actually really see what is going on during this time. You just get this thing happened in 17, this and that. This thing happened, but you don't really get to see how it weaves together. And so I'm reading these books and I am doing some research, and I am just so excited about what I'm discovering and the context that I'm able to better have. So anyway, that's my current read. And of course, I picked up one other book when I picked up Mirrored Heavens. And can you guess who is one of the writers in this book for short stories? It's Rebecca Roanhorse. You should know this by now. Like, come on. So anyway, I picked up Jordan Peele's book, Out There Screaming, and it is basically a collection of short stories. It's horror stories featuring different authors. But of course, when I saw Rebecca Roanhorse was included in it, I had to have it. So I'll be reading this as well. Not only this copy, but I'll have it on my Kindle because I saw my library has it. Yes, I collect library cards. Okay, some people have 1 million credit cards and some people have 1 million library cards. Which one are you? So anyway, that wraps up my book for today. So peace.